во имя Отца и Сына и Святаго Духа. Alright, dear brothers and sisters, we continue from yesterday our apology addressed to Muslims, especially answering all Korra's questions, claims, misconceptions about our faith, about the Hebrew which she doesn't know and misquotes, and of course misrepresenting the infallible church fathers, the saints, works, taking them out of context, doesn't understand what they mean, and because she's not read as us authentic Christians, unlike the pagans in the West she debates with, the pseudo-Christians, the Protestants, and the Protestant-likes, like even who call themselves Catholic or Orthodox, all those Orthobro cults, the Loftonites, all those grifters. I'm not talking about honest people like Saint Roberts and Janus. There are a few righteous men in Sodom, which is America. But most of them, 99.9% of them, are grifters, modalist heretics, partialist heretics, liberal clowns, pseudo-traditionalists, racist anti-Semites, all the horrible bigots, Islamophobes, the dog logics of the world, the orthobro of the gay Dyer of the world. We will decimate all of them with you, Muslim friends, because they are the ones responsible for decimation of our faith, and for you to think of our faith as if it's some kind of the heresy of modalism or partialism or polytheism or the garbage they spew about our God failing and they don't follow our saints as infallible heirs of the apostles, the sole authority of interpretation of the scriptures and the gospels and everything and the practices, okay? And all of them, no matter what label they claim to have, and Christianity have no denomination, by the way, Itachi, and we will get to this in this video too. Okay? So all those heretics, they put you Muslim friends the ideas into their heads because they fail to explain the faith from the saints, the only ones who can be appealed to for interpreting in all their angles, which are always in harmony with each other as different angles of the same truth, as I explained over and over, which is very important to understand. This is the traditional Christian apostolic paradigm, not what they think about the saints as if they're speculators, fallible in their writings on doctrine and dogma, and all that blasphemous defamation and Protestant liberal filth. Okay? That these are their Protestant lenses. And Gay Dyer himself, that vile, demonic cult leader who puts filthy demonic images on his channel acting as clown, he says so himself that it is, quote, retarded to think that our saints are infallible on writings on doctrine and dogma. Well, Saint Gregorius Palamas, who he claims to follow, he says that only ignorance will think such a thing, that they erred or contradicted one another on doctrines and dogma. This is conceding the whole faith. Okay? So, Muslim friends, we will focus, Korra, on your friend, which you talked with yesterday on her stream. On her stream, she made more new claims that I came across, and we will attack each and destroy those false claims and misconceptions about our faith, and all from the saints and all that. Okay, so let's walk through it. Number one, again, misunderstanding how our faith works, how our scriptures work, okay? So she came across as if it's something new that the saints didn't already dealt with. All the early church fathers already harmonized the so-called apparent contradiction, once again, from different angles, who are, again, harmonized with each other, okay? So, crushed it from different angles, even. Not just one interpretation. And they are all true and harmonized with each other, as we will see. So, she claimed that the Exodus, the book of Shemot in Hebrew, Exodus 6:3, has a contradiction with Genesis, Bereshit 22:14, okay? So let's go first, quote it from the Hebrew and translate it. Va'era el Abraham el Yitzhak ve'el Yaakov be'el Shaddai ushmi Yehovah lo noda'ti lahem. This is a translation now. And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob as El Shaddai, which is, by the way, the title of the Son, his Logos. He was revealed, his name, not the personal title of the Father, which is alone Yehovah, not of the Son, you heretics in the West grifters, who tell that to Muslims and tell them first Yehovah, second Yehovah. What is this garbage? The saints never talked like that. Okay? If you don't make distinctions between the titles and between the attributes in the personhoods of the three divine persons who are distinct beings, then you're modalists. Okay? So, and I mean real distinction, not that the Son is not the Father and the Father is not the Son and all that mental gymnastics that doesn't mean real distinctions. It's just talk in the air. I can say it about everything. If there are two similar things, I can say, but this one thing is not the other thing, yet they're similar. So I'm just talking gibberish. Okay? Just claiming, okay? That's not real distinction. Relations also, it's not enough to distinct the persons. That's not enough either. Relations of origins, and so on. Now, El Shaddai in Hebrew, it means literally God of my breasts, okay? And as we explained before, the Hebrew is a metaphoric language, which is the meaning of those attributes and things like also limbs, like hands and all that, before they were applied to the creatures by God. First, their meaning is theophoric, meaning they belong to God, because we're made in the image of God. The creation is also a reflection of God in a different way, not personal as in us, which our souls, unlike animals, have the spark of the divine essence, the personhood, which no other creatures possess. Okay? B'tselem and bidmuth, yes? So, the meaning of those words are first spiritual, not physical, okay? So, it means God of my breasts. Shaddai, Shaddaim, in the plural, in the Hebrew, is also the same. It is this in the spiritual meaning nurturing, because God nurtured His creation, and yes, so And so God is a nurturer of creation, nurtures his creation in the Spirit. Yes? So Christos being the God of the Father, God the Father's breast, meaning his Son, from his own, he emanates himself, begets him from his own, emanates him from his own divine essence. As he is the Father and he is the Son, so the Son is and the Son is as our divine scriptures and Gospels and epistles by the blessed apostle say that he's in the bosom of the Father. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, so. And it continues, and my name, Yehovah, I was not known to them. Okay? This is one verse. Verses Exodus 6, not 6, it was... Yeah, 22, right? Yeah. Yeah, Exodus 22:14. No, that's not it. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Genesis. I'm sorry. Yeah, here it is. Genesis 22:14. Vayikra Abraham Shem Hamakom Ahu Yehovah Yireh Asher Ye'amer Hayom Behar Yehovah Yireh. Okay? Translation. And Abraham called the name of that place Yehovah Yireh. Yehovah will reveal, or and also be revealed. Will be revealed, as it is said to this day, in the mount where Yehovah is seen. Okay? So the claim is that because he told Moses that he was revealed to him as Yehovah, as opposed to the other prophets before him, and Abraham and so on, he says he was known to them as El Shaddai. Okay? So let's see what the saints teach about it, and also explain everything to the teeth. Okay? There is no contradiction. Okay? Because the saints already revealed. Yes? So since the saints already revealed from the sacred oral tradition, which is inseparable from the scriptures, and it was given, yes, right away, all from Moses and the apostles, to the apostles, as inseparable, yes, from the written divine scriptures and the Gospels. Why? Because if there isn't the sacred tradition that anyone, as you do, as Protestants do, as Jews do, well, Jews has their own oral tradition, as they say, but it is a later bid'ah, innovations of much, hundreds of years later by rabbis. It's not the original which we have. So without it, everyone could interpret the text anything as he sees it. Well, no. There are only the interpretations which are harmonized of our church fathers and saints, the heirs of the apostles. Under the Spirit, they write the doctrines and dogma. Okay? They are the authority. So let's go to see what Saint Augustinus of Hippo Regius teaches. The doctor of the Latin Church. And of course our church, by extension, as all the great church fathers are for us, actually. Quote, in his question on the heptateuch, Book 2, question 18, quote, for he did not say, I did not tell them my name. He did not say that. But he said, I was not known to them by my name. For his name is not merely a sounding word, but a reality of presence and power. To the patriarchs, he made promises. To Moses, he began to pay them. Therefore, by the name of his eternal constancy, which is signified by I will be whatever I will be, which is what he revealed in the burning bush to Moses, which is Eheye, Asher Eheye. Eheye is the title of Christos, related to Yehovah, but it's not Yehovah yet. Afterwards, he will reveal also the name of the Father. But it is the beginning of it, because that word, I will be, that phrase is related to the amalgamation of the three words which combine the Father's personal title, Yehovah, which is the three words Haya, Hoveh, Hiyeh, which means the one who was, is, will be, and will be, okay? The future time, okay? The future state. So he says, therefore by the name of his eternal constancy, which is signified by I will be whatever I will be, and the Lord, Adon, he was known to them because they did not live to see the steadfast fulfillment of the things promised. Okay? This is the fulfillment, the revelation of the Son. Yes, the one who will be, in first person he says, hey, I will be. Yes, he reveals, the Son reveals himself, and Moses, Saint Moses, of blessed memory, the blessed prophet, he was the only prophet who spoke with God face to face. Not saw him, spoke with him face to face, which means directly spoke with his logos, his mamre, neum, the speech, kalam, okay, which is, of course, his Christos, his Son, who is the divine mediator, the divine link between him and men, okay? So Moses didn't spoke with him via angels, but directly to the logos of Yehovah, Christos, okay? So that way, this what the saint means, because Moses, he was the most intimate with God, speaking with him face to face, without the intermediary of angels. So this is what it means, I wasn't known to them by this name. Not that I didn't tell them that name. That's one thing. Okay? Meaning, they didn't use that name. He didn't use that name to reveal himself and to interact with them, and vice versa, and they didn't call him by that name, okay? And he continues in his tractates on the Gospel of Johannes, the Revelator. Quote, God was indeed called by this name among the ancient fathers, but he was not known to them in the majesty of his working as he was now revealed to Moses. For what is it to know his name? For what is it to know his name but to know his power? Okay? Which is what we just explained. Let's move to the other angle of His Holiness Patriarch, His Holiness Patriarch Johannes Chrysostomus of Constantinople. Okay? Quote, behold the sublime faith of the Patriarch, who names the place not from what he saw with human eyes, but from what he perceived by faith. When he says, Yehovah will reveal, he speaks prophetically. Yes? So, where were we? Yes, he speaks prophetically. Moses, recording these events long after, uses the name that had since been revealed to him by God, showing that the same Lord who spoke to him on the mountain of Egypt, Mitzrayim, was the very one who provided the ram for Abraham. The patriarchs knew the God who speaks, but they did not yet possess the fulfillment of the name Yehovah as the deliverer of all Gentiles. Okay? And Moses did. Now let's move to the next saint, Saint Hieronymus of Stridon. Okay? We translated the Hebrew scriptures into the Latin Vulgata, another doctor. Okay? So, in his questions on Genesis, he explains, quote, we must understand that Moses writes these accounts retrospectively. When Abraham called the name of the place, Yehovah will reveal, it is either narrated by Moses using the name that he himself knew to be God's proper name, or Abraham spoke it in a mystery of prophecy. Both, see? And we will give you more examples from other places. For if we read strictly according to history without understanding the manner of writing, we run into the contradiction where God says to Moses, by my name Yehovah, I was not known to them. Therefore, the name is inserted by the writer to preserve the unity of the Godhead across generations. Okay? So, three angles, all harmonized and connected to one another by sacred tradition, by the saints. Yes? And it shows you also that Saint Moses, for example, calls the places that were other cities built in the time of the Ahmosian dynasty of Egypt. Yes? The 17th, if I'm not mistaken, or 15th. Never mind, the Ahmosian dynasty, not the dynasty of Ramses, okay? Which the ones who don't follow the teachings of our saints claim, speculating, miscalculating the literal years of the Masoretic text, playing mental gymnastics about dates, making a joke out of our faith. Okay? But never mind that now. In Saint Moses, yes, Saint Moses calls the places there Pithom and Ramses, okay? Pithom and Ramesses, which were only in the dynasty of Ramesses, and that's why they think that this was the time, but only in the time of Ramesses they were called that way, but before that they were called in different names by the Egyptians back then, okay? The dynasties back then, okay? So, and also long before the son of Noah, Cush, was born, in the Garden of Eden, in the days before, in the first of in creation, when God created the Garden of Eden and the river, he says that one of the rivers of Eden encircles the land of Cush long before he was born. So he retrospectively calls them that. Okay, those places in those names that were later on. Okay, this is a prophetic book. This is in a prophetic retrospective. Prophetically, he does it. It's not some history of fallible history. It's true divine truth and history with embedded divine and deep spiritual meaning and knowledge there. Okay? So both things are correct. Both, he does it retrospectively, and Abraham called the place both El Shaddai Yireh and Yehovah Yireh in a prophetic under the Spirit's name. So Moses uses the personal name of the Father which was revealed to him to put in the text there. So you see all those apparent contradictions. The saints, the church fathers already dealt with all that. You don't Itachi Korra, you don't give anything new. There are no errors in the scriptures, and we will continue to debunk and clarify to you, with all due respect, all your misconceptions one by one. No stone will be left unturned. So let's do another video and continue tomorrow, another shorter one, and we will see you right soon. Two parts of the apology to Muslims for today. And please watch all the way through, which is the most important thing to do for the substance. Like, subscribe, comment to help this channel to be exposed to more people like you. Okay? So we'll see you right there, next.